So the Browns host the Rams on Sunday Night Football and are 3-point underdogs according to Fox Bet. Baker Mayfield has had a shaky start to the season with 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and it has at least one former Browns great concerned. 6-time All-Pro Joe Thomas said that Baker's lack of rhythm is surprising and unsettling, and that the QB seemed confused about several of the Jets' coverages on Monday night. So we're now joined by Fox Sports NFL analyst Eric Dickerson. Good to have you, Eric.
Good morning. How you doing?
So
the ambassador's in the house.
Yes, sir.
it is good to have you whenever we're talking about that team. But when it comes to the Browns, what do you expect from Baker when he faces Wade Phillips' defense?
Well, one thing I expect him to be afraid of is Aaron Donald.
We should have had him here for this last one.
Aaron Donald. You know, when you watch Baker, he looks a little confused, and I think Greg Williams did a really good job of that. You know, the Jets don't have the same kind of defense that the Rams have. But what I do expect them to do is most definitely try to cut down on the penalties, you know, and not have him hold the ball as long. Because if he holds the ball a long time on these long routes, it's going to be a problem. You know, that's going to give Corey Littleton time to get to him. That's going to give Clay Matthews time to get to him. And also Aaron Donald time to get to him.
Well, that'd be
the best player in football, Skip.
You mean the guy with no sacks so far?
You know what?
No sacks in the playoffs?
It don't make
no sacks against the Cowboys' career? I don't know.
But he got the loss against the Cowboys.
I was just going to say, what about them win-losses? You always say win-losses.
He did lose.
Okay, anyway.
Tony Romo, he lost.
So,
rookie
he did.
Different one.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just feel like that the NFL, as you know, Shannon, it doesn't take long for them to catch up. You know, they watch film in the offseason, they watch Baker. You know, every player has a tendency. All of us have tendencies. You know, one thing I expect the Browns to do is look to Nick Chubb to try to establish the run. They did that last week. They started running the football. The Jets stuffed it. They still came back to it and ran it, and it was good for them. And that gives Baker a chance to kind of get into a rhythm. But, you know, if he holds that ball for a long time and it looks confused, you know, one thing Wade Phillips will do will give him looks that it may look like this, but it's not that.
Right.
It may look like man, but it's not man. So that's what I expect. But do I expect us to win that football game? I got to go with that. Of course I expect us to win. I expect us to handle them.
Yeah.
I do. I expect it. And see, I can say that because I don't have to play and I ain't got to get hit.
Yes, you can.
I expect more struggle, Skip. I think a lot of it has to do with expectations. We automatically assume, oh, you see what he did? He had more touchdowns in his rookie season than any quarterback in NFL history. And so you automatically, well, you know what? If he played so well then, he's going to play even better next year. And like Edie says, teams study you. And I think the thing is, Skip, they're trying to push because they want big plays, and they're trying to push the ball down the field. And sometimes you got to pat the ball in order for those guys to get down the field. And maybe some of that patting the ball is because why, Skip? He might be looking for a certain player with a certain number that wears a certain type of watch. But we're not talking about that right now. But it's still early, Skip, and Greg Williams can confuse a lot of people. Now, Greg will show you a lot of different looks, but if you can block it up, like the blitz look, remember he gave him the other night, OBJ went 89.
He did.
There are creases in there, but you're going to have to hold up now because he's going to show you a lot of different looks, have a lot of guys moving around, and what you think it is, it's not that, and if you're not careful, he'll hit you in the back of your head with a blitz, a free rusher. I expect, Wade doesn't like to blitz a lot, especially when he got guys, when he had Von Miller and D. Ware. You didn't really have to blitz. You know, you got to slide the line one way or another, and the guy that's getting single coverage can get home free. Wade doesn't really like to blitz because now he has Clay Matthews. He also has Fowler. He also has Aaron Donald.
He does.
So he feels he can get there with pressure, but he will bring it because he does have confidence in his back end. He has Weddle back there now to lead, Marcus Peters. But Peters need to be very careful with Odell because Peters is very vulnerable with the double move because he's a cornerback that likes to clue. He likes to play off, and he'll pattern read. The quarterback pulls up at 3, those balls coming out quick. And Odell will set it down and take off on you, and now you got a big play over the top. So he needs to be very, very careful playing Odell. Peters does. But I expect Wade to get after.
Remember Peters against Michael Thomas in the regular season game? You were there.
Yeah.
But he'll get you. Hey,
what happened in the playoff?
Good point.
You got to back. You got to back. You got to back.
What?
My turn. Before I launch, let me say, I still love watching Baker Mayfield play quarterback. In fact, I enjoy his brand of quarterback better than any other. I like him more than watching Dak or Tom Brady or the quarterbacks I love because I just love the swagger and the body language and those touchdown celebrations, running up the field, doing helicopters and planes, and it's just fun to watch because it is Favre-esque, Favre-like. Where he's just spilling over with energy and joy and trash talk, and he just loves to compete. But so far, so bad, because it goes back to that third preseason game, the dress rehearsal, when against Tampa, he went 10 of 26 for 72 yards with no touchdowns and a pick. And he just looked lost against Tampa.
Yeah.
And then obviously 43-13 happened in their home opener thanks to the Tennessee Titans.
Right.
And it was a disaster, man. And he kept trying. The harder he tried, the worse it got.
But against Tampa, Skip, to give credit now, Todd Bowles might not have been great as an offensive, defensive as a head coach, but
he
defense.
He is a coordinator.
Yeah.
He is. He can really coordinate. And he could in his Arizona days.
Yes.
Okay. And yet, I'm with you about this. I fear he has fallen into the Odell trap because, especially against the Jets, albeit against Greg Williams, who can confuse anybody, and he was spoiling to try to get even with the team that let him go.
Right.
But Baker he's holding the ball because he's looking to hit a home run with Odell. And he hit one early.
Right.
And it might have been the worst thing that could have happened to them, for the season because it was like the catch, just another hood ornament. Right?
Yep.
And yet, after that, he's forcing the ball to Odell, and he's holding it, and he's trying to duck and dodge and hold and escape, and he can run a little bit, he can move a little bit, but after a while, he's starting to take shots, and he's starting to get beat up, and he's not a big man.
No.
He's not built like Cam is or any of the bigger quarterbacks. So to me, he's got to spread the ball because last year he didn't care. He was not Jarvis-centric last year.
No.
They had a bunch of young receivers, little Callaway, and I can name they had a whole roster.
Higgins.
Yeah, Higgins. They're pretty good. They're all pretty good, and they looked very good when he was spraying the ball all over the lot.
Yep.
So I'm a little worried because, listen, this is a tall test. Your guy can really, you want to talk about coordinating? That's a loaded defense with a really shrewd operator calling those defensive plays.
Let me ask you a question. Where did Freddie Kitchens come from? Where did he coach at?
We coached a lot of places.
But where did he coach last?
Arizona, yeah.
So he knows that defense.
Oh, okay.
He knows what Aaron Donald can do.
Okay.
He knows that they need to double team. We can sit here and say, well, he's not that. You say, oh, he's not that. But Freddie Kitchens like, hey, look, this guy can hurt our quarterback.
Okay,
what did he do? What did he do to Carson Palmer? I told my friend Roy Green when we played him in London. I said, he gonna make your quarterback retire now. Remember I told you that. He broke his arm. So you
got to account for that guy.
You got to account for that
but
guy.
Everybody doubles him. Who doesn't double him? What was your stat? 80%?
Double and triple. The back sometimes comes out and chip on. And you got to talk about an offensive line. Cleveland's offensive line is not that good. Not that good. So
that's true.
And the worst thing you could do, Skip, if you have an offensive line that's not very good, is hold the ball.
Hold the ball.
Because that's why he's taking a lot of hits, and he has double the amount of interceptions as touchdowns. You can't if you take what the defense gives you. Pretty soon they'll start creeping up, and then you'll be able to throw the ball over your head. But that shouldn't be your first order of business. Try to throw the ball over their head because they're like, nah, we're not going to give you anything cheap and deep early. But you can't keep taking those hits.
It was insightful to me and intriguing that the ESPN guys on Monday Night Football kept saying that, and I assume they got this from Freddie Kitchens, that Nick Chubb is the most valuable player on that offense.
Right.
Well, there's Baker and there's Odell, but Nick Chubb's the MVP of the offense.
You got to run it.
Really?
Run it. Yeah.
All right. Well, that would suggest against your guys, they're just going to run it and run it and run it.
Yeah. They have to run it because, I always say the run sets up everything. The run sets up the play action. All of a sudden, you can't just set those guys there. You got to run the football because running opens it up for the quarterback. It really does. It makes the quarterback's job a lot easier. And then all of a sudden it makes the running back's job a lot easier. So they've got to try to run the football. They did it against the Jets, and they did a pretty good job of it. I think that Nick Chubb is probably one of the most underrated backs in the NFL.
He's better than people think. But Wade likes to play. He likes to play the run on the way to the quarterback because he really wants to punish your quarterback.
But the Rams and the Patriots are just two teams that haven't allowed a passing touchdown so far this season. So something's working for you guys.
Well, considering Miami didn't score any and Pittsburgh didn't score but 3 points, Yeah, I say they do it pretty good. Probably not going to give up a touchdown this week either.
By the way, lately, the only quarterback who's had much success against Wade Phillips was Dak Prescott.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
What a good segue. Let's have the Rambassador stick around.